welcome to Today on the Green.
We're your hosts. I'm Bridget, and that's Evie.
I had a really good weekend.
Why?
Because WGA officially has made a deal with AMPTP, which basically, if you don't know what that means, writers will officially get paid better in Hollywood and just get better stuff for their job. So good job, writers. Good for
Money.
you. Yeah. Speaking of a win-win, Powderpuff happened. Yeah, Powderpuff happened on Friday. Yeah.
So let's go see who won Powderpuff.
The Powderpuff football game was on Friday night at Glenn Davis Stadium. It was a great night of flag football between the junior and senior girls. The seniors were able to win the game 7-0 in overtime to claim the Powderpuff trophy. Now back to Evie and Bridget.
Seniors always win. Bonita beat Bonita. Yeah!
Anyways, today the news came. KCAL came and interviewed a few of our programs here at Bonita. They interviewed culinary, they interviewed us, they interviewed the auto shop, they interviewed ASB, they did color guard. It was awesome. We also got an interview with the interviewer of KCAL herself.
The news lady.
Yeah, so let's go see what we asked her. Hello, so we are here with Jasmine from KCAL News.
Yep, so we would love to know, what's it like being a journalist or newscaster?
It is very exciting. Every day is different. You could find yourself on breaking news in the middle of a fire, in the middle of a flood. I've been standing in chest-deep water. It can be dangerous. It can be so fulfilling and beautiful, like being here. I did a whole segment on your school, so it was positive. I think the news needs more positive stories. Do stories on, human interest stories to investigative stories. So it's high-paced. It's not for the faint of heart. Long hours. It's tough. But if you have that passion, then you will love it. I will say most every day. It can be exhausting, but it is. It's about, I think, making our communities better and informing our communities that, we grew up in. I'm lucky to be back where my grandparents lived and, to just have these stories being told in their neck of the woods, I guess,
Let's say someone's interested in this sort of field of work that you do. Where do you think they're able to start?
Well, starting here is great. Doing what you're doing and getting that hands-on experience is fantastic. After high school, college, you want to go down, whether it's behind the camera, in front of the camera, take those editing classes. Get out there with your own camera and start shooting your own pieces. Putting yourself in front of the camera if you want to be a reporter or an anchor, doing this again and again. Stand in front of your mirror, talking if you want to keep, working on your performance aspect. But after college, you will have to go to a small market. That's usually the case, especially if you want to be on camera. If you're lucky enough, you can start interning at a big station and work your way up. But in my case, I had to go to Yuma, Arizona for 2 years. Lived in an apartment with garden furniture because I was making $8 an hour. Probably a little more now with inflation, and that was, 20 plus years ago. But Yuma, then I moved to Monterey, Salinas, and you just work your way up. But it's all about that experience hands-on. So if you can get into a station, if you can get into a video production house, company, learn all you can and save your work. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
As you can tell, I'm a talker. So why do I do this? I like to talk.
Thank you so much, Jasmine, for coming into the studio today. So back to our studio today.
Thanks, Jasmine. If you ever need to, you can audition here. Extra pair of hands, we always need it.
She's a professional.
Everyone has to audition.
Speaking of auditions, we sent Randy to go talk to Mr. Frederick about Bonita's theater play, Anatomy of Grey. So let's see what he got on that.
Hey Bearcats, it's your arts correspondent Randy. Today we got a deep dive interview with theater director Mr. Frederick for the upcoming play, The Anatomy of Grey. Hey Bearcats, it's your arts correspondent Randy. I'm here right now with Mr. Frederick, the head of the theater department, here to tell you about this upcoming play, The Anatomy of Grey. Now, Mr. Frederick, I understand that this is a play set in the 1800s of Indiana, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And our main character is a teenage girl named June, right?
Yes, June, roughly around the age of 15.
Now, what can you tell us about June and what her role is in this play?
Sure. So the play opens basically right after the funeral of June's father, and she makes this wish that she wants this doctor to come in that can kind of help heal her and the town. And that kind of gives you a snippet as to, she's precocious, she's making these wishes, but at the same time, as the play progresses, she shows quite a bit of prowess in being a doctor. And so, while yes, there is a Dr. Gray that shows up, as the play progresses, June becomes a doctor a bit herself.
So we can understand that this play will have a central theme about death, grief, maybe even coming of age.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
So Mr. Frederick, it seems to me like we can expect quite the tearful from the audience, yes?
I would say yes, there's going to be a good amount of tears shed, but keep in mind there are quite a bit of comedic moments spread out throughout the play. To put it in perspective, imagine you go to the doctor and the second he sees a sight of blood, he passes out. And that is probably the perfect way to describe Dr. Gray, a hemophiliac who, again, is used to working on cadavers more than the more alive person or patient.
Thank you, this has been great.
Thank you.
The Anatomy of Grey is expected to come out the 17th, 18th, and 19th of November. That's all for today. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Randy.
So that concludes today's episode of Today on the Green. Come back tomorrow to see what happens today on the Green tomorrow!